everyone. We're going to be doing a moon salutation today. That's the odd angle of the camera and the phantom max that I have set up. So those of you on the sides of the room are going to end up being the front row eventually. Those of you on the back, you're going to be the front row eventually. So just that you may not be able to see everything, just follow my instruction. You need to peer back over your shoulder, totally fine. But last night was the total lunar eclipse. In the month of May, the full moon is called the flower moon. And it was not only a flower moon, but it was a super moon, it was a blood moon. And we had that lunar eclipse. And lunar eclipses can be, I feel like, more intense than the solar eclipse we had a couple weeks ago. So if you look at the astrology of what happened last night, the moon was in 25 degrees of Scorpio, and the sun was in 25 degrees of Taurus. And then we have Saturn in Aquarius that was conjunct to the eclipse. On top of that, we have Mercury in retrograde. And on top of that, we have Jupiter, the planet of expansion, with the sign of Aries, which is the jump starter. So think about how you've already got this conflicting energy just with that alone. Because Aries is wanting to get things going, it's jump starting, it's leadership, it's get things moving, being motivated, action steps. And you got Jupiter expanding that, but at the same time, you have Mercury, the planet of communication, saying, take a moment, step back, start to reflect, recalibrate, re-examine everything, maybe reprogram how you're thinking or talking to yourself. So that aspect is slowing us down. At the same time, we've got this other movement, energy wanting to move us forward. So you may be feeling that conflicting energy. But what happened over the course of the weekend, and it's not over yet, just because the eclipse happened last night, there's a foreshadowing period, usually a month leading up to it. I started feeling it last week, definitely over the weekend. And then that energy kind of works with you for the next several months. So what is coming up a lot, because the full moon was in Scorpio, is think about Scorpio being the water sign. And Scorpio is already an intense energy. And then the water sign is very reflective and representative of our emotions. So if you haven't had that emotional setback or breakdown, it could be just because of where everything's aligned in your chart, because all of us are going to have our own experience based on the natal chart when you were born and where everything is alignment now in the universe. So everyone's going to be affected a little bit differently. But man, just about everybody that was around this weekend was feeling it emotionally. Things surfacing, things revealing that needed a little bit more evaluation. We're being asked to step into a higher emotional status or grounding. So it's just a lot. I don't know. I did a moon circle yesterday. It was all women. And every single one of us, when we started to open up and sharing, all of our emotions and setbacks were coming from relationships. A couple of people, it was relationships with the career, like in just feeling out of place or feeling taken advantage of, feeling overlooked, and making a bold step to do something different or to do something about it. And then there were several of us that were feeling strains in certain types of relationships, or miscommunication, mishaps, or misunderstandings happening in the relationship. And then there was a couple that was the relationship with the self, some insecurity, self-doubts, things coming up of that nature. This is also about finances, because if you look at what these planets represent, you know, Taurus is about working hard, and Scorpio is about, you know, getting rewarded from that. So it could be even the relationship with finances and the economics and maybe how you're living, and maybe making some priorities with what should be focused on first, and maybe putting some other things to the side, maybe watching the spending, or things of that nature. So if any of that is showing up for you, it could be you're just dealing with this eclipse and the energy that it's trying to help us to move forward with. So with that being said, because it was an eclipse, we're going to be doing a moon salutation. We're going to be circling around on that. But because it was eclipsed by the sun, we're also going to add in a few sun salutation elements as well. So we'll still get a couple vinyasas in the mix of it. So let's go ahead and start. Sitting upright. Resting your hands down on the lap. Closing the lids of the eyes. Taking a moment just to connect to your physical form. Noticing whether it's comfortable or uncomfortable to be sitting this way. Noticing what you're bringing to the mat with you physically. Checking in to notice how you are energetically. Your energy high or low. And checking in with your emotional status. Know that as we practice today, this will help to get the energy moving and opening to the body, and you may have a release later. Check in with your mental state. And just know you can improve all of these things through the power of the breath. So go ahead and take the reins of your breath. Breathing in and out with more effort, more conscious control. Feeding and fueling yourself this beautiful life force energy. They say that the full moon being in Scorpio is the time frame years ago when the Buddha became enlightened underneath the Bodhi tree. So maybe reflect for a moment what has been highlighted, what has been rolling to the surface, what needs to be looked at. Because when we can transmute energy that way, when we can override certain things, we are in essence allowing ourselves to become a little bit more enlightened and a little bit more enlightened and a little bit more enlightened. Take 3 more breaths. And slowly begin to crack the eyelids open. We're going to come all the way up to stand. And when you come up to stand, you're going to bring the feet to the top of the mat. Spreading out through the toes. Lodging the feet down into the floor. Standing tall, reaching the arms up overhead. And we're going to lace the fingers together to Jupiter Mudra, where the shoulders firm up towards the ears, where the pointer fingers lift straight overhead. And as you exhale, gently curve to the right. Because we're honoring the full moon with the moon salutation, know that we are going to get 4 crescent moons in through the practice. This will be the first one. And we won't do the other side until we move to the back of the mat and continue to the front of the mat at the end. But know that we will get it balanced. As you open up your left side body and your left lung, affirm mentally, strength and courage fills up my body cells. On your next inhalation, lift all the way up to the top. And as you exhale, you're going to step to the left. You're going to create your Kali goddess position. Feet turn out, thighs roll out. Bring your arms up, elbows in line with the shoulders. And as you exhale, lean across to your left thigh. Reach that right arm and stretch it across your ear into a side stretch. On your next inhale, bring it up through center. And as you exhale, rainbow over to the other side. The right forearm will rest on the right thigh. The left arm's going to sway up and over. Good. Inhale, draw it up to the top. And as you exhale, bring your fingertips down to the floor. Drop your hips slightly more. Yeah, so your torso is more or less parallel to the floor. Put the weight in your feet instead of your hands. So your hands are just there to really help with balance. As you continue to roll the thighs nice and wide, feel that sensation running rampant through the hips. Take one more deep breath in. As you exhale, you're going to lift your heels and turn them back behind your toes, setting them down to the ground, and then folding all the way. Maybe spin your hands and walk the hands through the underside of the legs, bowing your head so the crown is facing the floor. If your hands don't quite touch down or walk out this way, you can slide your hands out on blocks. Open up that channel of breath, remembering that the indwelling place of the moon, the yogis say, is at the crown of the head. They often mention the sun representing consciousness itself, and the moon being the reflection is representative of the subconscious self. On your next in-breath, walk your hands back through, stack them onto your waist, and slowly rise all the way up. Good. Once you come up to stand, you're going to revolve your right foot 90 degrees. You're going to lift and extend your arms out shoulder height. You're going to reach out over the right leg and windmill down to triangle pose. When you come to triangle pose, flying that left arm skyward, roll the right shoulder back. Lengthen out through the vertebrae. Suction cup your feet to the floor. Traditionally, we turn the gaze up, but if that strains your neck, don't do it. If it throws your balance off, gaze down instead. Take one more deep breath. Burn and clear energy and joy flow down to me. As you cast your gaze down towards the right foot, you're going to lunge that right knee. You're going to land your left hand just beyond the toes. You're going to swivel onto the outer edges of each foot, both front and back. And you're going into what's called Soma lunge. The Soma lunge is kind of a yin variation of a lunge position. Because notice how we're rolling to the outer edge of that right foot, and that knee is winging out as we open the external rotator of the hip. Good. As you exhale, you're going to turn your feet back to face the front, long enough to transfer the hands to the inside of the right foot, turning the right toes towards the corner of the mat, or Skandasana, side lunge, lunging into the right knee, straightening out to the left leg. Now, there's other expressions of this pose. I had a rough weekend, so my hands are staying on the floor. If you want to be more expressive with your arms, go for it. But we'll do crouching tiger now to the left, turning the left toes towards the corner of the mat. Right leg straightens out. Only dip as far as your body allows. Don't try to do any more than that. And then crouching tiger over to the right. Good, back to the left. We're going to do it one more time to each. And after taking pause on that left side, we'll heel toe the feet a little closer. Drop the tailbone to Face down, hands to prayer position at the heart, coming into Malasana squats. Again, take the variation of your liking, although I'm going to instruct to be a little bit more active. So to be more active, you're going to draw the thumbs down towards the top of the sternum so that your elbows can slightly push into the inner thighs to widen the hips. Lift up to the crown of your head. Look straight ahead with your eyes. Breathe. Feel that deep flexion in your wrist. Feet between your hands. Closing that circuit between the left and the right side of the body. Bringing the hands down to the floor, heel toe the feet apart. Long enough to come into a wide stance forward fold, but you're stacked on your hands. Your arms are extended as well as your back. Take your hands now to your hips and slowly rise up. Taking that to the other side, the left foot's going to rotate towards the back. The arms are going to float up shoulder height. You're going to push back into the hips. You're going to lower down the left hand to the shin or prior to the shin. Taking triangle pose. Stacking the shoulders, revolving open through the belly and chest. Finding your drishti point. Affirming, receiving, believing, energy and joy flow down to me. As you exhale, cast your gaze down, lunge that knee, spin off the back heel, land your right hand, soma lunge, flying the left arm skyward. Winging the left hip open. Take one last breath. Good. Exhale. Turn your toes to face the back of the room. Frame that front foot with your hands. Step back into plank. All right, from your plank position, this is where we're going to add in a little bit of a sun sow element. So go ahead and shift forward and lower down to 8 counts chaturanga. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Land to your belly, untuck your toes. Lengthen through your leg bones. Reach the arms out like the goddess arms. Inhale, come up, Bhujangasana. Good, exhale, lower. Let your arms come along for the ride. Inhale up, keep your legs, glutes engaged. Exhale, release. Chin or brow. 3 more. Try to use the muscles in your back to create this heart opening pose. 2 more. Feel free to use that Ujjayi pranayama. Once you complete that set, slide your hands back underneath your chest, push up and back into extended child's pose. When you sit back towards your feet, lift your face up, look down the lane of your mat, cup your hands, create your thing hands, you got it, and walk the fingers further away from you, and then drop back into your seat again, and then bow your head. When you bow your head, don't force it to the floor. It may want to hover, but feel that extra traction you gained, the extra space you allotted for. And breathe into it. Affirming here as you hold that our prayers for all of mankind to live in harmony and in peace. Now spill the palms down. Inhale, rock up to hands and knees.
As you exhale, tip forward, drop down, Ashtanga Pranam, like you're about to kiss the ground. Hips stay in the air. Inhale, push up. Come back, table. Good. Exhale, Ashtanga Pranam, knees, chest, chin. Elbows clip to the side body. Inhale, press up. Good. Exhale, dip down. We're going to do 2 more. Building a little upper body strength. The next time you dip down and press up, you're going to curl your toes under and take Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, press into the palms and fly high through your seat. Gaze in the direction of the feet or beyond. On your next out breath, you're just sitting down to your left knee. You're going to turn your left shin back behind you as you roll to your right foot, and you're going to carry the right arm in the air. Now press through your right foot. Send your right arm over the ear in a C curve. And then create a cat stretch through your side ribs, meaning you're pulling your left rib cage in, puffing the right rib cage up. This is more of a yin-like approach to the pose here. Open up the side intercostals, cleanse out your lungs. Now, you're going to continue to send your left foot towards your left hand. You're going to continue to rotate your right toes towards what began as the front of the mat, and you're going to lean back and roll open, sunny side up, like a modified wild thing pose. So it's a blend. What was a side stretch, we created a twist, we created a heart opener. And now we're gently going to rotate back around to tabletop position. Take your time. All right, from here, step your left foot back. Glide your right shin behind you. Spin down to the left foot. Fly the left arm skyward. Being stationed here to start with. Notice we may have more weight in the right hand and right knee versus the left foot. All right, so push into your left foot. And now sail the left arm overhead. Puff up through your side ribs. Hold and breathe. Moving towards a modified wild thing, right foot slides back, left toes turn, and then we roll open to face the ceiling. And as you exhale, gently spin that right shin, turn on that left foot knee, bringing the left hand down. Awesome. Curl the toes, launch back into down dog. Now that we provide a little bit of a sun sow element, we're going to move back into the moon sow. So we're going to be stepping, lunging, or floating the feet to the top of the mat, lifting up halfway, and then roll down all the way to your Uttanasana. Now here at Uttanasana, we're actually going to take the arms behind the legs. We're going to use the left hand to grab the right wrist, and we're just going to slide the arms down. So we're not pulling, we're sliding. Think about, I never played baseball or softball, but we've all at least witnessed it when people have to slide into the home base, or any base really. And that's what we're doing here. We're just sliding into it. It will deepen our experience. Affirming here, nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back. Not even these eclipse energies. Trust that everything is happening for a reason. Even the emotions that surface. Even the doubts that creep in. They're looking to be evaluated. They're looking to be completed because this moon was concentrated in the south node of the moon, which is all about completions and endings. On your next in-breath, reach the arms to your sides and up overhead. So the same mudra we did overhead at the start, we're doing overhead again, Jupiter mudra. Thumbs crossed, hands laced, pointer fingers up. Good, this time exhale, curve to the left. Remember at the very beginning, we only went right. Here on the back side, we are going to go right again, but we'll end it at the top of the mat to the left. So the 4 crescents can create the full. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, curve right. Remember, it's not about how far you lean. It's about, am I creating openness? Am I practicing with honesty and integrity? And how well can I promote this next breath? Inhale up to the top. Exhale, step to the left this time. You're taking that Kali goddess position. All right, so here, remember, earlier we just had the arms up, but now we're actually going to purposely contract the biceps. So contract your biceps, roll the pinkies towards each other, create resistance as you draw the arms together. And then as you open the gates of the heart, create your resistance still, and then rotate your thumbs out and away. Inhale, pinkies roll in, forearms close. And then they expand open and the hands spin out and turn away from the body. Do that one more time. And then send the fingertips down to the floor. Lift your heels off the floor. Now, when you elevate your heels, it's okay to have more weight in your hands because you're going to need it, right? Crisscross the fingers and create spider pose. You might get a little quivering or shaking through the thighs. Stay with it just a couple more breaths. And then uncross your hands, spin your heels back, lower them down gently. This time the arms are going to walk in front of us. It's still Prasarita Padottanasana, but it almost feels like a wide stance downward facing dog, doesn't it? Hands stay shoulder distance apart. Same approach, so if your hands don't touch down, or if you're having to bend the knees, take blocks of your hands and slide them out. Lift your third eye, receive here. So the third eye being open helps us to gain insights and clarification during this crazy time of energy and emotions. We may have to go through the muck before we can look back and understand the call or the meaning or the purpose. The 4 folds are about trusting and surrendering. The idea here. Now walk your hands back towards you. Lift your head up. Even out that blood flow a moment. And then hands to the waist. Gently push down through the soles of the feet to climb back up. Right foot is going to rotate around. Arms are going to fly back up shoulder height. You're going to lengthen over the right leg, windmill down to triangle. Now we're going to experience the twisting element here. So I want you to slowly take the left hand down towards the right foot. And then inhale, feel that twist as you turn your waist, turn through the belly, and revolve open through the ribs. Good, now lower the left arm down. Inhale, recreate your sail. One more time, take your time. There's a quote that I used to say a lot, and it says, the winds of grace are always available, but it's up to us to raise the sail. Triangle pose kind of represents that. All right, now lunge into the right knee, land your left hand. You're lifting the back heel. We're not doing soma lunge, but we're lifting that right arm. We're staying planted on the right foot. We're changing it up a little bit. As you exhale, we're gonna fan the right arm down and under the thigh, bow the head in. Inhale, open your throat, lengthen through the spine as you elevate the right arm. Beautiful, exhale, take it down and under. One more. Sync it up with your breath. Sync it with the pace of your breath. And then transfer the right hand to the inside of your right foot. Turn your right toes towards the corner. Land down with your left foot, side lunge, skandasana, facing that front door if you're in the studio. Now this is where if you want to change it up a little bit, you can lift your right heel and fly up through the left toes. You can do like a half squat here. Some people want more hamstring work, so if you feel that desire, walk your hands to frame the left leg and bow over. And if this is too much for your knees, leave it out. Do skandasana, that first pose. When you're ready, skateboard over to the other side. Maybe flipping the right toes up. Again, you can do regular skandasana if that's more in your wheelhouse. You can open up the hamstrings more by tracking yourself over to the straight leg and bowing out. All right, when you're ready, slowly come back. Heel to the feet a little closer. We're returning to squat. This time we're going to be more yin. So to be more yin, you get a little heavier through the hips and you bow your head to prayer hands. And the elbows kind of just point downward. There is a marma or acupressure point here at the brow. If you ever go get a full body acupuncture, you can ask them to put a point here or a needle here. It helps to induce a mental peace. See if you can experience that now for yourself. All right, bring the hands down. Heel toe the feet a little bit wider apart. Stack to the fingertips, lean to the spine. We need to bring it back up to stand. Hands to the hips, slowly rise up. We're going to do that same sequence we did here, but now on the other side. Left foot rotates. Arms float up shoulder height. Push into the hips. Take it into Trikonasana, triangle pose. But remember, we're going to fan the arm up and down. So as you exhale, lower the right arm. You can even follow your gaze with your hand. Inhale, raise your sail. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, draw it up. And continue one more round. Bring the hand down this time, lunge that left knee, turn off the back heel, and lift the left arm skyward. Once you're set up, you can begin to flow, fanning that left arm down and under your thigh, bowing your head in. Inhale, creating that elongation and extension. Exhale, contracting, curling in. This time when you bring that left hand down, we're walking back to plank. From plank, moving back into the sun south element. Shift forward, lower down 8 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're on the floor. Arms out, legs back. Inhale, let your arms come up for the right. Use the diaphragm, use your back. Exhale, release. Continuing. Slip the hands under the chest and shoulders. Push up. Once here. Exhale, shift forward down to Asana, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, press up. Exhale, dip down like you're about to sip some water from a creek. Inhaling up. Couple more. Slower you go, the more you feel, the more strength you build. Next time you come up, you're gonna sit back. But this time, the arms are gonna wrap around you. Taking Balasana, child's pose. Allow your inner awareness to surf the wave of the breath as it undulates alongside the spine. All right, we're going to be moving towards Wild Thing. And the first thing I want you to do is extend your arms out in front of you and pop up 2 hands and knees. So I'm going to give you a visual really quick so that you can decide, do you want to do it from plank or downward facing dog? It's a little less scary from plank because from plank, you're just taking a foot over and rolling open. All right, so from down dog, right, you have more height, you get a leg lift, you bend that knee, and you have more depth, you know, to fall back on that foot and to spin open to Wild Thing. The most important thing I want you to realize is you want both sides of your mat clear, so nothing to slide or slip on. And then we're gonna go for it, okay? So determine, do you want plank or down dog? I think I'm gonna do plank today because I did down dog yesterday. We're gonna start with the right leg. So regardless if you're in down dog or plank, you're lifting the right leg, you're spinning on the left foot. You can take downward scorpion if you're coming from down dog before you flip it. Take like 3 to 5 breaths while you're here. And then turn back, flipping the dog or returning to plank. So from down dog, you'll lift your left leg, take downward scorpion, then flip it. From plank, you'll lift the left foot, swivel on the right, 1 less step. You are tucking the tailbone and you are pushing your hips up and you are arching through your spine. Few breaths, and then flip it back. If you return to plank, you're pushing back, downward facing dog. Now we're all meeting at the same spot. We're gonna conclude this moon salutation. Inhaling to the top of the mat. Open up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Now remember, the other time we did Uttanasana, we grabbed the right wrist. We're actually gonna take a hold of the left. And then we're gonna slide down. Let your head release. Let your neck loosen up. And see if your belly can burrow into your thighs. It's okay if they can't. Good, then inhale up to the top. Release the hands to Pura Mudra. Exhale, curve left. Now this is our fourth crescent. Inhale up. Exhale, hands to heart. So we often refer to this as the salutation seal. Close your eyes and affirm internally salutations to the sun and to the moon, to the awakening light within us all, and to the dawning of a much higher state of consciousness in all beings. Relax your arms. Separate your feet. Phew, sorry, felt that coming. Soften your knees. And you're gonna twist. It's a twisting kriya. It's loose, it's zen, it's whimsical, it's carefree. You know how cleansing twists are. Think about how they cater to that third chakra, what we call the emotional body. And then I want you to stand in the anatomical position with your eyes closed. And I want you to imagine from your third chakra down, it's a funnel moving all that debris, all that emotional debris down through the soles of the feet and sending it back to the earth. So the earth can transmute it. And then from your heart, imagine that spinning vortex moving upward and out through the crown of the head. Washing things out that's no longer needed and building things up for better awareness and for those enlightened moments. And then once you've kind of cleared this, imagine you're standing here with a column of light coming down to the astral spine, anchoring and tethering you to the earth, and being fed from the heavens and the earth. From the mother below, from the father above. And open the eyes, feet together, hands together. We're gonna bring it back to the floor. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, take plank. And descend to the knees, so that did not have to be a perfect point. We were just transitioning here. And then down to forearms. So if we're gonna move towards working towards a headstand, doesn't mean you have to go up, okay? The first thing I want you to do is notice your forearms. Are the upper arms perpendicular to the floor? Do you have the elbows tucked up underneath the inside of your shoulder bone? Because if they go too wide, you could strain your shoulders. And then take your hands to wrap. And if your fingers wrap around your elbows, you know you're good. Then lace the hands. Notice how the belly may be flopping, mine is. So start to pull the navel in and create your cat stretch back with the head off the floor. Keep the head off the floor. Suction that belly in, make it tight. Push up through your shoulder blades. Feel the work, even in the backside of your arms. And then let it go. All right, now we're gonna do that again. Take your calf stretch, but crawl the knees a step or two forward so that you can land your head right inside your palms. Once you have the head cradled, push through your forearms, pick your head off the floor. Keep your arms engaged, but let go enough so that your head taps down. Do that 2 more times. These are the muscles we're working with. I just want you to make sure that you're aware of those muscles. You know how to engage those muscles. Because sometimes when we lift the feet off the floor, we lose it. And then all the weight's on the head. All right, now, once the head's back down, keep your arms engaged, keep your core engaged, but tuck the toes, lift the knees, and travel the feet forward, forward, towards the face. And maybe this is all you want to do today. Maybe you can curl up. Maybe you can fly one leg up and float the other to join. Maybe you have the strength to pipe both legs together. Beautiful. Stop at any point along the way. Never any pressure. Especially when you're not against the wall. When you're ready to safely come down, take your time. Bringing the feet down, bringing the knees down. You can fold back into child's if you feel like you need that. If you were all the way up, if you weren't all the way up, it's okay to sit up. We're going to do a quick breathing meditation after child. Take your time. So this year is a lot about water. We have the water tiger with the Chinese zodiac. With the numerology and astrology for this year, they're saying expect a lot of water. We had this eclipse and a water sign. So we're going to do a meditation that I actually learned years ago from Shiva Ray. But then I learned it again through Chase Bozart, who leads the well. Is it yoga well? It's like a Vini yoga form. But anyway, the hands are going to mimic like the way the water is rolling. So what it looks like is inhale, the hands are going to move forward and up. It's like a wave coming to splash on us. But as we exhale, the hands come straight in front of the face, pushing it down before the heart towards your lap. Then the hands open and move forward. Come on. To exhale. Push and wash away. Inhale. Remember, water is very purifying, very cleansing. Imagine as you're doing these movements, this breathing meditation, it's almost like you're being almost baptized in a way, cleaned and cleared out. Three more. Bless you. After that third one, open your palms. Just sit.
for a moment. Notice how you feel now. Is it more comfortable to sit? Are you still in the same state energetically or emotionally? Hopefully not. Hopefully you sense improvement. But just like anything else, any type of energy work that we do, whether it's massage or Reiki or yoga, sometimes things do get stirred up. Maybe something that's been dormant. It's okay if you don't feel the best. And open up, yeah. Right, so if you wanted to stay seated in meditation, you always have that option. If you would rather move into Shavasana, we didn't do a whole lot of admins. We did though with Cobra and Wild Thing. So if you feel like I really just want to lounge with my heart open, you can move here. If you feel more drawn to your back being flat, you can do corpse pose or bolster under your knees, perhaps. I'll let you set up. So have anything relational showed up for you? Through connection, through networking, through community, through partnerships, family. Not. Feel as though you have lifted your sail and you received the winds of grace. If you are working through that, honor yourself, your feelings, your path, so that you can become aware of what's no longer working. Maybe what needs to be released. You can look at this practice as a way of bringing things out of your mind, your body, including your emotional body. Maybe being in a question on what needs to change or evolve. Or maybe where you need to reprioritize or sever a cord of attachment. My boyfriend's a guitar player and has more guitars than he knows what to do with. He always feels like, but I may need that at this time. But over the weekend, he developed this awareness that it's okay to let some of those go. And he opted to put them up for sale. But maybe your relationship with material items that you're ready to release and let go of. And if you want to be contemplative on that during this time, that could be your meditation. Or you can just relax. Or stay fixated upon your breath and let your breath be your meditation. And the sound of the mind goes down. So as you cue to open up the doorway of your breath. As you deepen the breath, allow that to open up the doorway of your heart. As your heart opens, allow that to open up the door of your intuitive mind. As the door opens up to your intuitive mind, know that you've opened up the door to your connection to the divine. Wiggle the fingers and toes. And slowly exit out of your pose. You come upright to sit, hands to heart. The light and the love that I hold within my heart sees, recognizes, and bows respectfully to the love and the light you hold in yours. May we all continue to be the carriers of light in this world that seems so dimly lit. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste.